So yesterday, early in the AM, I did a live stream, and at some point I picked up the Bible, opened up to a random page, and read some knowledge, and it was nice. So I figure I should make a habit out of it every single day because I'm trying to level up and remove from my life anything that I see is holding me back. And if you really want to remove things that hold you back, then what you have to do is you can't just remove those things, but you also have to add in things. That way, your mind's not like, oh, I want to do these things, I want to do that. You have to replace those actions with better actions and keep your mind occupied. Otherwise, the temptation will most likely bring you down right back to where you started. So, anyone who has a Bible, and if you don't, you should get one. I recommend just grabbing it and once a day, just open it up to a random page and just see what you get. Now, I opened up to the dictionary part, page 1666. But I prefer to get the actual Bible. Man, it's really a lot of dictionary in here. This is a cool Bible because it has translations. The Bible is recorded in English here, but it's the language that Jesus spoke is Aramaic, and so sometimes things can get lost in translation, and interpretations can be skewed. So it's cool to be able to go in here and see certain things. But boom. Ecclesiastes. Alright, so we open up to Ecclesiastes 11:4. So I'm just going to read the whole pages and go from there. Now, when you read, I'm a big fan of balance. So when you read or do anything, you should always be trying to be balanced. You want to strain your muscles in the least negative way possible. So focus on your form in all things. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know what is the way of the wind, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who is with child, so you do not know the works of God who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand. For you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Truly the light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man lives many years and rejoices in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for there will be many. All that is coming is vanity. So, the Bible is a pretty complex book, and sometimes you're gonna wanna look things up. And we live in a time where it's possible to look a lot of stuff up right away because we got the interwebs. So keep that in mind. That we're very blessed to be able to look up things. I'm pretty sure vanity means unnecessary luxury, kind of like that, maybe. But I could be wrong, so that's why I'm going to double check. Okay, vanity. Excessive pride in or admiration of one's own appearance or achievements. Okay. The quality of being worthless or futile. Yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they will be many. All that is coming is vanity. Seek God early in life. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart and in the sight of your eyes, but know that for all these God will bring you into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from your heart and put away evil from your flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. So the cool thing about this Bible, it's like I said, it has translations. So I'm in the Old Testament right now. So I can actually go look up what it's trying to tell me vanity is. Okay. Okay. Hebel. Hebel is what the word for that they're using as vanity is for in here. Okay. Emptiness or vanity, something transitory and unsatisfactory, often used as an adverb. Breath, complete dishonesty, empty, fantasy, futile, idle, nonsense, passing, vain, vanity, vapor, worthless. Okay. So that definition's a little more interesting. For childhood and youth are vanity. Okay. Remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come and the years draw near, when you say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are not darkened, and the clouds do not return after the rain. And the day when the keepers of the house tremble and the strong men bow down, when the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look through the windows grow dim, when the doors are shut in the streets and the sound of grinding is low, when one rises up at the sound of a bird and all the daughters of music are brought low. Also they are afraid of height and of terrors in the way. When the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden and desire fails. For man goes to his eternal home and the mourners go about the streets. Remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. Vanity of vanity, says the preachers. All is vanity. So that's a pretty complex verse. And I really don't know exactly how to interpret, other than maybe in the grand scheme of everything, we have so much value in who we are and our identities, I'm Jack Woods. I take pride in my ability as a martial artist. I take pride in certain things, but the reality is it all comes from God. The only reason I have abilities, although I grind and I push myself, the only reason I even have that drive to be able to do that is because God gave me that drive. He gave me the experiences in my life that have led me to where I'm at today. And perhaps, I've made choices and certain paths open up depending on the choices I make. But at the end of the day, it's all fleeting. It's all going to pass by eventually. And it's like, all that really matters is eternity. This earth, everything here, all these experiences, they will eventually pass. And then all we'll have is the eternal things, I guess. The whole duty of man. And moreover, because the preacher was wise and he still taught the people knowledge, yes, he pondered and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find acceptable words, and what was written was upright words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, and the words of the scholars are like well-driven nails given by one shepherd. What is a goad? 1861. so thin. Says Dorbone, of uncertain derivation. The words of the wise are like goads. And the words of the scholars are like well-driven nails, given by one shepherd. And further, my son, be admonished by these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is wearisome to the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. I'm a big fan of that verse, bro. And that's Old Testament right there. But fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. This is man's all. This is the main goal for anyone who is here. Keep the commandments, and everything else will come. And when you think about the commandments, because some people might be like, oh man, the Bible was made to enslave the people, to make people think that like it's control, it's like government. Even at a younger age, I pondered these things. And it's like, when you really think about the commandments though, that's the page, by the way. That's the final. Well, that was 2 pages, but I might keep going. But first, I want to pull up the commandments. So Moses goes, talks to God through the burning bush, and then he's given the commandments, I think. Okay. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. So that's commandment number 1. You should have no other gods before me. You shall have no other gods before me. And it doesn't capitalize gods. So no, that to me is like there's only one God. So even if there's higher entities or higher level spiritual presences on earth, God is really still only one thing. And that's who you need to be calling out to if you really need help. You shall not make for yourself a carved image any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in water under the earth. So we can't know what heaven is like. We can't know what hell is like. And we can't know what's in the water. I mean, I don't know if you know about the ocean, bro. But the ocean is a mystery, to say the least. You can only go so deep in the ocean. I know you probably heard about that submarine that got exploded from the pressure, but oh, you shall not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. But showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who take his name in vain. You know, that's a big one. That's a big one that I see a lot of people really struggle with. I mean, basically almost 99%, I'd say 95% of people say, oh my God, all the time. It's a very popular thing. It happens a lot on the television. A lot of streamers do it. And basically everyone does it. And it's like, to me, that should be the easiest commandment, is not taking the Lord's name in vain. What it means to saying something in vain is to not, it's to say it in a negative way, or to have no real reason for it. It's like something bad happens in you and you're like, oh my God, you know, it's like God is so powerful. God is the creator. And so it's like you can get so much from God. Like God will give you so much. Not necessarily in the terms of materials. Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's a provider, but in the terms of just feeling better. Like, God can make the impossible possible. And it's like, so when someone is that potent, why would you call on him for such small, trivial matters? You're not using God right. You're supposed to have God help you and say, hey God, like help me with my goals. Help me to see the right path. Illuminate the path for me so I can get to where I need to go. Whenever I'm calling on God, I'm always asking him to help me. Now, I got to help myself. I got to make the right choices, and really it's keeping the commandments. Keep the commandments and then call on to God and ask him, what am I supposed to do if you're lost? And if you haven't kept the commandments, then repent. Repent and keep the commandments. And then God will probably help you. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So that one's kind of like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the society that we live in is very engineered to not do what this book says. It's engineered for you to not follow the commandments. Why would I say that? Because if you think about it, on all the television shows, you got people sinning. We're watching TV and movies where people sin for entertainment. And you are what you consume, whether that be media or food. So if you're watching people sin, you're increasing the likelihood that you're going to sin. I mean, I got sidetracked there, I think. But the Sabbath day is like, nobody really keeps it. And on Sunday is when we do church. And most people are a one day a week kind of God follower. They go to church on Sunday, they listen to their preacher, and then they just go about their business. But God is an every single day of the week kind of thing. And every day you should be really focusing on God. God should be your main focus, and or at least what you think God wants you to do should be your main focus. And Saturday's a very poppin' day. A lot of stuff goes on Saturday. I mean, you think about it. Friday, a lot of people party straight on into Saturday. You know, stay up till 3 o'clock. And then go to sleep, wake up. They might want to go do something. But the seventh day is the day of rest. Saturday is the Sabbath day. So it's like you can go to church on Sunday if you're a churchgoer, but the Saturday should be observed as a rest day. Think about it. It literally says nobody. It says that your cow, bro. It says your cow shouldn't be working hard on the Sabbath day. So that means that the Sabbath day is really a day of rest, a day that we should be meditating, breathing, thinking about the Word, and really trying to decipher things, bro. Because like I said, bro, these are translations, bro. It's like really God is more than just words. In fact, God is more feelings than words, in my opinion. So it's like, think about how many people are watching football on Saturday. Saturday football. It's like, even if you're resting, if you're watching people compete and do things on Saturday, you shouldn't want them to do that. You should want those people to rest on the Sabbath day. Because we're all supposed to pick that one day of the Sabbath to just take it easy. I'm the type of guy who really pushes myself to my physical limits. And my mental limits as well, as when you try to change and evolve and walk in the Spirit, you have to remove habits. And changing your habits is one of the most difficult things. And I never really knew about the Sabbath, but once I realized, like, the Sabbath day on Saturday, I stopped working on Saturdays. I really try to observe it. I smoke some weed. You know, we could get into that. That's a whole nother topic of discussion. It's definitely fleshly, but it's something I'm working on. But on Saturday, like, I try not to do any of that. Like, and I try to really take it easy on the Sabbath day and just low energy. I'm not even trying to play ping pong at a high level. I'm really just trying to rest for as good as I can. You know what I mean? As good as I can. And I think it's just about effort. putting in effort to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, and your days may be long upon the land which is the Lord your God is giving you. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Yeah, man, we got a lot of people out here who are struggling with their parents, and there's a lot of, sketchy, not great parents out there, but forgive and do your best to honor your family. And that's complicated, of course, and that doesn't mean let people hurt you or let people do you damage, but understand that they're still your parents, and you should at least not bash them unjustly. You shall not murder. That's a crazy commandment, because it doesn't say you shall not kill. It says you shall not murder. Murder is unjust killing for no purpose or an evil purpose. Like what the first murder was Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel because he was jealous of his abilities, and you let negative emotions control you and do certain things, like it ain't good. But killing somebody, if you have an enemy who's attacking your people, you might have to kill them. You might have to. And God doesn't say don't defend yourself, don't defend your people. It just says do not murder people. Do not unjustly take life. If you gotta eat, if you gotta do something, maybe, but you shall not commit adultery. Adultery. That's being with a girl who you don't intend to marry. Because in theory, everyone has a wife and a husband. Even if they're not yet in contact with that person. If you sleep with somebody who is not somebody that you intend to be your husband or your wife, then you're committing adultery. And sexual sin is one of the worst, because it's like you form attachments with people, especially once you've had relations with them in that manner, and it can be very sticky. And you might have sex with a girl, and then she grow attached to you, and then you decide you don't want to be with her, and you might mess that woman's mind up for every other guy going forward. And now that woman who could have been a good wife, who could have had great family, now she's on a whole different path. And I think, God is within us all, and God judges that heavily, because you're not supposed to unjustly hurt people. You shall not steal. Yeah. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You should not lie about things. That's basically what that's saying. Don't lie. Be telling the truth. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. You shall not covet things, man. You can't want stuff that's not yours, bro. God gives you what you deserve. Put in the work and you might be able to get something. But it's not about these things. You got so many people who want material things and they see what somebody else has and they want it, but it's all about up in here, bro. Like, how are you feeling in your head? Like, you might have all the donkeys in the world, bro. Like, it's not gonna make you feel right if you're sinning to a degree. And that's all of them, dog. That's all the commandments. And Moses said to his people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin." So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. That's so, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. That's deep, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. that's good for the day. Mm. Oh man.
Ever again.
Yeah, walk away question here. Just since you mentioned it, and you're a doctor, your thoughts on Joe Biden's cognitive?
Oh man, dude. Imagine, bro. Imagine being so foolish that you're still asking questions about Joe Biden's cognitive state, bro. What, bro? I mean, think about it, bro. It's like obviously Biden for the past 4 years has been a total doofus, bro. Never was up to date, bro. Like this shows the mind of most Americans. It's like, oh, what do you think? Joe Biden's so foolish. Joe Biden's so this, bro. He's the leader of your country, bro. But he's not. He's just a figure, bro. The people really leading your country are in the shadows, bro. Like, that's what you don't get. Like, and you're out here saying this nonsense, thinking you're like smart or clever. So look at his face, bro, smiling, bro. He's like, what do you think about Joe Biden? It's like, bro, like, she's destroying your country, bro. Like, you have a show about this, bro, and yet you're. It's just. Why not say the real, bro? Why not be like, look, man, what do you think about the evil people who stole the election so they could put a fake figure who's completely bought, paid for, and controlled. Joe Biden is an immoral figure who is corrupted at the highest degree, and if the people in power decided to part ways with him, they could easily put out a campaign to destroy him. They could use their media machine and absolutely decimate him, and it would be over. But he's super controllable, so they keep him around, and that way he can pass what they want him to pass and get people ready for what they want. So that's what I think about Joe Biden. This is why I don't really like Rumble, because when you go to Rumble, all you see is just like politics, bro. It's just tons of politics. Like, put some knowledge out there, bro. Not politic knowledge. We got gaming and politics, bro. This is poison to the mind, bro. You gotta stay away from guys like that.